Hey, on the road with Wax, listening to Wax's podcast, talking mad shit about uninteresting facts. Just can't wait to get on the road with Wax. Hey, I apologize. Damn. I apologize for the hoarseness of my voice. I just got off the fucking stage, man. I actually am here in Maryland Heights, Missouri, which is a suburb. I don't even know if it's a suburb. I think it's just a random place. It's like half an hour outside of St. Louis. I was the first to go on today. I went on at 12:45, which is actually a late slot for the first slot on Warped Tour. The other day I was first to go on at 10:45 a.m. That was in Portland, Oregon, I believe, and that was actually arguably the best show I had. Today's show was still good, but not as good. We were right by the gate, and there was so much shit going on. There was like a metal band playing that was pretty loud nearby at the same time. So it wasn't as good of a set, but still a pretty good set. But I'm here in the tour bus reporting to you live, or like I always say, not actually live, because you're listening to this in a recorded form much later than what's actually happening right now in the present in my world as I say this. Life on the road. That's what I'm trying to talk about here on Wax's podcast, On the Road edition. We just had 2 days off, and it's kind of interesting. Our bus driver has, he's on a nocturnal schedule. So what happens is, we do this whole Warped Tour. We set up the merch and take all our gear down from the bus at like 7 or 8 a.m. Then we find out at around 10 a.m. what time we're going to play that day. And then, depending on what time we play, we break down everything and put everything back in the bus and the trailer that's attached to the bus later on in the day. That could be any time between 6:30 and, say, 9. And I'm saying a lot today. I guess I'm just got off stage, man, so, I'm a little fucking worn out, man, because I really put my all into it. I put all my heart into my work, and, it just wears me out a little bit. I don't have the mental capacity that I would have had before I really I bared my soul to the audience. But, so the drivers developed a nocturnal schedule. So what happens, we had to go all the way from Portland, Oregon to St. Louis, Missouri. And if you have any knowledge whatsoever of American geography, you know that that's quite a long trip. So there was 2 days off in between. We drove all night and then stopped in Salt Lake City. So what happens is we stop in Salt Lake City, or right outside of Salt Lake City at some dumb hotel out that happens to be off of the interstate, freeway, highway, whatever you want to call it. And he sleeps all day. His name is Jason. He'll sleep from like 2 p.m. until like 10 or 11 p.m. And then we get back on the bus, and maybe for an hour or so we'll like watch a movie or just chill. But for the most part, while he's driving, we're sleeping. And then after the Salt Lake City day off, we drove all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska, and did the same thing. He sleeps all day, and we're just kind of like at a hotel. So on the days off, there's a lot of options you could have on a day off. We had a day off in Oregon, and we really just were in a cool town, like right by a river. So we kind of drank beer on the river and enjoyed nature and just skateboarded around the town. We got a couple tasks done. Went to like Staples to get an ink cartridge, and but like yesterday, I got my laundry done. Did all my fucking laundry. I prepped for the podcast by getting some emails ready, and besides that, I watched the U.S. soccer game. Unfortunately, the U.S. lost to Belgium in what was a very exciting World Cup soccer game. The only World Cup soccer game I've really watched, so kind of made me wish that I had time to be into the World Cup. My brother, a.k.a. Herbal T, is very, very into the World Cup, watches every game, but not me. I don't have time to watch sports, and I don't really give a fuck, to be honest with you. All right, what else do I got here? Warped Tour. Every day is kind of similar. There's kind of the same type of crowd. A lot of young high school kids happy to be away from their parents, running around, frolicking about in some random parking lot at a place that's probably called like the Sprint Amphitheater, the Verizon Amphitheater, which is actually what today's venue is called, the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater. You might have like the Comcast Outdoor Fest Center. You might have like the, any one of those kind of companies. The Best Buy Arena. There's probably like the Target Bowl, Walmart Dome of America, whatever. Places like these that are right outside of major cities, and the Warped Tour will occupy the parking lot, and sometimes the bigger acts will be in the amphitheater, and that's how it goes. A lot of high school kids, a lot of kids with weird haircuts, tattoos, shirts that say "suck my fuck" or "don't be a fucking bitch" on them. That's the thing right now. If I could go back in time and think, and I thought to myself, how can I make a bunch of money selling merchandise on the Warped Tour? What I would have done is I would have made a T-shirt that said a bunch of obscene things. Jesus Christ, it's been Attila. You're gonna hear. There's gonna be a new segment out today on Wax's podcast. My friend Max, who plays keyboard and trumpet, he's actually Watsky's cousin, but he's in my band playing keyboard and trumpet, and he has a really good voice, really good reading voice, and he's gonna read you a song, the lyrics to a song by this band Attila that I still can't figure out if they're a real band or if they're like the riff-raff of heavy metal. I can't figure it out, but their lyrics are so crazy, and their shirts, those were their shirts. One of them says "suck my fuck," one of them says "don't be a fucking bitch," and the other craziest one says, "I tried to pray to God, but I was too busy getting paid." And these are just shirts that they just have big ass font, words in big ass font that are just across the front. You've seen these kind of shirts, and they're everywhere at the Warped Tour. That's just for that band. But you could, if you just wrote, like, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't sell it as a Wax T-shirt. I might just open up my own little side business called just like "Cuss Word Shirts Are Us," and I'd have one shirt that said like "shit, fuck, cunt." I'd have another shirt that said "you're a bitch and I fucked you," and then another shirt would say like "come on her face" or something like that. Yeah, I know that you're thinking, don't say these things. You're just saying this because you're going for shock value on Wax's podcast, but I'm not. Like, if you walk around the Warped Tour, the most popular thing to wear is some type of shirt that has just big text, big font text that says something vulgar on it. I imagine that when these kids get dropped off in the parking lot by their parents, they've got one shirt on, and then in their little backpack is the shirt that they really are going to wear to the Warped Tour, the one that says "don't be a fucking bitch" on it. So, if I would have only thought ahead and made "Cuss Words Are Us" a reality, I'd probably be fucking loaded right now. I'm not saying that I'm doing that bad selling my own little shirts that say my little name on it, but I'm sure I'd be doing much better if Cuss Words Are Us was a Warped Tour merchandise business that traveled with the tour. Yeah, so I had a couple things written down here. One thing I wanted to talk about, me and Elon have been talking about this for a while, and this is more of an advice piece to musicians. I guess this could go for poets. It could potentially go for people who want to be stand-up comedians, definitely for people who want to be politicians, anybody who does any kind of public, on stage or in front of a podium speaking. If you're a white dude, or if you have fair skin in general, and you are either bald or have your head shaved, when you tell people to put their hands up, you might want to watch the way that you do it yourself. Because if you put your hands up and it has like a straight, and your fingers are extended, pointed straight out, and somebody takes a still photograph of you, you're most likely going to look like a fucking skinhead that's doing that Heil Hitler thing. Because me and EOM noticed that last year in a couple still photos of me. It just looked, because as many of you know, I have no hair on my head, and I actually have a pretty big head, and when you take a picture of me doing the Heil Hitler thing, I legitimately look like a fucking skinhead. So if you're going to do the put your hands up, you either put your fist in the air, put both hands in the air, do something besides the Heil Hitler thing, and it's very easy to do. Like, if you think about it, like, if the beat is playing and you're telling people to put their hands up and you're going up and down to the beat, if you picture me like I'm holding my hand up like the Heil Hitler thing and then making the whole thing going down, like my shoulder is the only joint that is moved. My elbow stays locked, my fingers stay locked, my shoulder is what moves it up and down to the beat rhythmically. You might think, oh, well, I'm moving to the rhythm. I don't feel like I'm doing anything skinheadish at all. However, once that still photo is taken and they put it on Instagram and then you look at it and then all of a sudden it gets reposted by fucking letsbenazis.com and says, you know what, Wax is one of us now. Then you'll regret it. Then you will regret it. So that's my take on that. Just be careful. That's my advice for you. I just saw this like 15 or 16-year-old couple when I was walking back from the gig to the bus to record the podcast, and they were having a really, really heated moment. Not heated as in angry, but they were like both sitting on a curb and they were kind of crying. And the girl, I can't remember exactly what was said. I was kind of far away. I wasn't paying that good of attention, but they were super, super young. And the girl said something like, "What? Do you love me? Just tell me if you love me or not." And they're like both like crying and heated. And I just wanted to go up to them and like a fucking dad and just pick them up by their necks and say, it doesn't matter. Stop getting all dramatic. You're 15 years old. This relationship is going nowhere. Just break up. Go inside the Warped Tour. Meet your next relationship. Try to get a rebound going. You know, maybe get a hand job in the porta potty, something like that. I don't know, but just stop crying. Stop crying about your 15-year-old relationship. It's not going to matter in the long run is what I wanted to say. But I was 15 once, and I was in love, you know. So I didn't do what I envisioned myself doing. Damn, I'm feeling really hoarse. Don't have a lot to say on this podcast. That's the only thing I had written down was the try not to look like a Nazi thing. I am going to have the new segment, like I said. It's going to be called Max Miller Lauren Reads Attila Lyrics. Let's talk about Attila for a second. Attila, god damn, I'm not going to fucking suggest you to go listen to this band, but I will suggest you. They're like the modernized Limp Bizkit meets Scream type of metal. But the guy is definitely kind of a rapper, and he definitely talks like a rapper in between sets. And he talks like a rapper in a really cheesy way that sounds like he's acting, you know? And the things he says are like, I could never even think to say the things that he says. They're so douchey and weird. But they're super misogynistic, and they're super juvenile, but their lyrics are pretty amazing, actually. And my goal on this shit is to talk to the singer of this band. His name's Chris Franzak. I've become kind of infatuated with this dude because I don't know if he's a real person or, I mean, A, a robot, but B, like a character. Like, he's like Riff Raff. If you don't know who Riff Raff is, then go look him up. But I'm trying to figure him out. So, you know what? At this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop. Before I stop, actually, I'm going to recommend to you, if you just look up the band Attila and look up their lyrics and just read a couple songs and read what they have to say about the world. And you might find it interesting. But for now, here's Max Miller Lauren reading the lyrics to About That Life. Hey, hey,
hey,
two. And, hey, two, check. Introducing a new segment here on Wax's podcast. My good buddy, Max Miller Lauren, trumpet player extraordinaire, is going to read to you from the lyric book of the one and only band, Attila. What song is this going to be, Max?
This is called About That Life. Alright. I'm a bad motherfucker, not a fucking role model. Fuck church, hit a bong, then go smash a fucking bottle. Got a few sluts to help me roll a few blunts. And they never question me because they know I hate cunts. Eat my words and swallow my sentences. Here we go, you fucking asshole, living off the dirt on my shoes. Does it keep you alive? I'm about that life. Hold me accountable. You're itching for the money that I use to wipe my ass. Here's some shitty Benjamins. Too bad they'll never help you buy some fucking class. Trapped in a world where money controls you. Hustle hard or be a piece of shit. Watching the tears rolling down your face. I'm throwing away diamonds. I like a bad bitch. She fucks me all night. Then she counts my money while I'm on my PlayStation. Every moment's always filled with sensation. Always fucking blazing. America's my nation. I wouldn't have it any other fucking way. I'm about this fucking life. I hustle hard and then I play. Put your lips on my dick so you can taste success. That's the shit. Swallow and don't spit. I'm about that life. Trapped in a world where money controls you. Hustle hard or be a piece of shit. Watching the tears rolling down your face, I'm throwing away diamonds. On and on, it never stops till the money's gone. Rip this bong and get your money, bitch. Start stacking the paper. I had diamonds, but I threw them away because I don't give a fuck. Suck my fuck. She rides my dick like it's a merry-go-round. And I bust my nut on her. Let me tell you something. Tighter than a virgin. Making money like a surgeon. And we stack it to the roof because my pockets started hurting. Bawling and hauling and taking over like I'm Stalin. Got a few fucks, but I do not give them to anyone. Holy shit, I guess I'm really just about that life. Suck my fuck.
Everybody out there listening, applaud at your household.
Thank you.
That's Max Miller Lauren with the first installment of Max Miller Lauren Reads Attila lyrics. Until next time. I wonder what's up. We'll find another
maybe
piece of
break
poetry
shit,
next time.
maybe
shots for the boys.
Shots for the boys.
I think next time we'll do shots for the boys.
Shots for the boys, yeah.
I think it's inevitable that in hundreds of years, Edgar Allan Poe, Chris Franzak. I think those will be the names that are remembered. Maybe Shakespeare, but I never heard Shakespeare say "America's my nation" like that.
No.
I like how he throws that in, like a little patriotic nod, and he also makes a Stalin reference. So you can't say he's not.
No, he's kind of a little communist, a little capitalist. Like he's got both things.
He wants to take over, but he still wants girls to. What do you say? Swallow, not spit.
I bust my nut on them, I believe, was the line.
I don't know how.
Yeah, and she also rides his dick like a merry-go-round.
Rides his dick like a merry-go-round. Tighter than a virgin, making money like a surgeon. You heard it here first on Wax's podcast. All right, and that was Max doing his reading. I want to apologize for the lack of sound quality on the recent podcast. Like I said, I don't have the studio equipment available to me on the road that I do normally when I'm in California, just at my house. So I'm using my Apple computer with my GarageBand program. For those of you out there that are interested in podcasting, you can, you as well can start your own podcast with just an Apple computer. You just go to GarageBand, pull up a little new thing, and it'll even have a default for podcasts, and you can just start talking about whatever is on your mind. That's what I do, and I just, like right now, I don't even know what I'm going to say next. I'm looking around the room. You know, like when you're a writer and you start looking around the room and be like, oh, I'm going to talk about that hat right there, that you're really out of ideas, and you really just need to hit stop and record another podcast. But I'm not going to. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to fucking, what was the shit, George? Stay the course. George Bush Sr. used to say that. Stay the course. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm back here in the back of the bus. I already explained to you what the bus is like. No need to do that again. But I will tell you, I've been having really weird dreams on this bus the past 2 nights. And I'm like one of those people that don't remember their dreams. Like I never ever have like wake up and be like, oh, that was a crazy dream. I just wake up and I might as well not have dreamed at all. I might as well just have just shut down and been unplugged for a few hours, and I wake back up and it's just as if nothing happened. But for some reason, the last 2 nights I've been having these weird dreams, and the dreams still involve everybody that's on this tour, but it's just everybody in a different situation. The first day was really weird. We were all a soccer team. We were a traveling soccer team. And this was before I watched the World Cup game yesterday, so I don't think I don't think it came from that. And, Nils, our tour manager, was the coach, and he kept bitching at me because I had, like, the wrong type of shin guards. I remember that. And then last night I had a straight-up zombie dream. Straight-up zombies. And everybody was involved, and some of us were zombies and some of us were not. And I didn't end up becoming a zombie, but boy, were there some close calls. And, so now, since I performed first, it's only, 2 o'clock or so. I got to figure out what to do with the rest of the day. An interesting thing about the Warped Tour, which I might have talked about in the last podcast, I'm not sure. We don't have a shower on our bus, so every day the shower situation is different. Sometimes they have shuttle buses to nearby hotels where they'll get a couple rooms and you shower in there, and then some venues kind of have showers on site. So either way, taking a shower when you're on the Warped Tour is a process. Like, it's going to take you a little while. You might have to wait in line. you might have to find out where to get picked up by the shuttle bus. So the nice thing about playing early is you can go get a shower in when not as many people are in line, and then you have the rest of your day to do things such as record podcasts and drink beer, things like that. I don't know if I mentioned on the last podcast, but I'm using the word podcast a lot in this podcast while podcasting. They give us a free case of beer every day. So for a dude like me who likes to drink and recently went on the 100 days sober thing, it's going to be almost impossible for me to try to do the sober thing now because I'm one of the few beer drinkers on the bus. And after a long day of moving shit around, nothing feels better than a nice cold beer. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for me. It's going to be one of the hardest things in life. Like, literally, I have the hardest life out of anybody. Nobody on earth has it harder than me because I get free beer in my tour bus, and I have to drink it, and I have difficulty not drinking it. So if you can name somebody on earth that has a tougher life than that, I mean, I'd love to hear about it because I don't think it's possible. So let me tell you something. When you get paid to do what you love and ride on a luxurious tour bus from city to city, playing music, which is your favorite thing to do, and then all of a sudden they tell you that they're giving you a free case of beer, and you say to yourself, it's going to be difficult for me to not drink that beer. Let me tell you something. That right there is almost impossible. That's a life that's almost impossible to lead. You show me a man that can do that without committing suicide instantly, and I'll show you an extremely brave American hero. So when I look in the mirror, that's what I see. Because my life is so fucking hard. I'll tell you, I mean, I say all that sarcastically, but I'm really learning to sit back and realize that I'm living my dream. I used to, kind of be caught up in going further and further, and then once you get to a certain point in your little entertainment career, you're like, oh, but blah, blah, blah is doing better than me. I got to catch up with them, and I got to make more money and sell more albums and get more acclaim and get more critical praise and blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you something. I don't give a fuck about that shit anymore at all. First of all, I have a lot of fans. I have a lot of true fans that support me and buy my stuff. They buy my shirts. They buy my albums. They come to my shows. And I think some of them will actually be my fans for a long time because I think that they really, a lot of people like my music. A lot of people relate to it, and a lot of people can't wait for the next shit I put out. So I'm extremely lucky in that I don't have to necessarily look at my music career as this thing that's going to all of a sudden die. I think if I keep putting out quality stuff, I'll be able to make a living off this shit for a long time. So I've recently learned to really, really enjoy what I'm doing. I feel like this tour, I'm happier than I've been in a long time. Anybody that's been listening to this podcast for a while knows that I've had my issues with depression and things like that, but not right now. I'm doing really well, and I really have learned to enjoy to smell the roses. I smell the fuck out of the roses every day, and I'm just really enjoying this tour, and I'm kind of not worried too much about don't get me wrong. To keep this going, I got to work. I'm not trying to be lazy, but I'm just writing music for fun. I'm touring for fun. And I think the next album that I do, which I'm already working on, is going to be even better than it would have been if I would have been pressuring myself, thinking to myself how good it has to be, and thinking to myself like, oh, this has to impress people at record labels or impress critical acclaim motherfuckers, press or whatever the fuck they are. I'm just going to make the shit I like, have fun with it, and I think that you guys are going to like it because I'm just going to write about some shit that happens to me, and it probably similar shit happens to you, So I'm going to have fun with it, and I think it's going to work out to be a good album. It's got a long way to go, but I'm on a roll with that shit. I'm doing good creatively, doing good mentally, and I'm just in a general state of feeling good. So I don't know why I'm saying that, but I just thought that I should. It's good to enjoy the ride that you're on, rather than always as you climb up the mountain just gets taller and taller and taller, and you're just looking at the top, and looking at the top. And every time you think you're getting to it, you realize that that was just like a cloud formation that was covering up the rest of the hike. So then once you get to the top, you know, A, you didn't enjoy the walk up, and B, all you're doing while you're at the top is trying to fight motherfuckers that are also coming to the top, and you're not even enjoying your time while you're at the top. So I'm trying to do the opposite of that. I'm trying to just have a good time and fucking enjoy myself. So with that being said, let's do some questions and shout-outs. Alright, the internet's fucking up in the car right now, so I'm just going to read this off my phone. Where am I at? Alright, shout-outs. I got Michael from North Haven, Maine, Ellis L. in Devon, UK, Nelson in Portugal, Imran Q, Austin E, Marco from Canada, Raul S. in Maryland, Sean from New Zealand, and Noah from Auburn, California. Oh, fuck, I was supposed to play the homie TJL's song. You know what? I'm going to stop it right here. I wanted to play a piece of my man TJL, who sent me a song, Weirdos. Here you go.
Yeah, it's reminiscent, eclectic, and we do it like this, yeah, we do it like this. Standing tall, none of these guys can make me fall. Walk like a giant amongst you dwarves. These guys blinded, mindset small. Open up your eyes, break down those walls. It's time to decide what you stand for. All you little sheep, go follow Bo Peep. This ain't for you, this is grown man speak. So, watch this grown man speak. Coming direct from the belly of the beast. The devil's all around, but I ain't one for heat. People struggle to believe all the things they can't see. Only truth that they got is when it's up on TV. All they show you is what they want you to see. Put you in position where you stare blindly. So fuck your ITV and fuck your BBC.
Don't believe everything you see or hear. You gotta look beyond the stories, gotta see things clear. The propaganda leaves you scared, it leaves you gripped with fear. But I can see the walrus coming, grab your bats and your spear.
I'm an astral roamer, I'm roaming at astral planes, and I ain't never gonna play your games, cause I'm way past playing insane. Cause anybody that I meet never ever really seems to change, they always seem the same. Believe the gimmicks, they're molding your brain. You're being brainwashed by the same dots that's delivering your eight sprogs and making you hate gods. And now we're back at the start, so much more going on in the dark. You love money but guns the colour of your heart. Chakra, every week I'm drowning in some vodka, cause you cut me ends and now you need a doctor. Body of an adult but the mind of a toddler. When I sleep I produce an A-class drug, throw me in jail, slap on the cuffs. Throw me in jail, slap on the cuffs.
Believe everything you see or hear. You gotta look beyond the stories, gotta see things clear. The propaganda leaves you scared, it leaves you gripped with fear. But I can see the walrus coming, grab your bats and your spears.
Yeah. And my mind stay shrouded. Take weed, take shrooms, stay grounded. I'm looking out in this world, I'm dumbfounded. Cause everything in this world I stay doubting. Hypocrisy is what we always see. It's like one rule for them, yeah, and one rule for me. Ha ha ha. Life isn't everything it's made to be. You can stand still but I'm breaking free. Fuck your change, you can't hold me. You walk blind while I can see. Led to the slaughter, now who's the sheep? Words that I speak, yeah, soft and deep. Staring at the lines, gotta look between. But I'm blinded by the lights of the music scene.
In the deep end of my soul. But when I popped out the other side, they didn't be a weirdo. In the deep end of my soul. But when I popped out the other side, they didn't be a weirdo. In the deep end of my soul. But when I popped out the other side, they didn't be a
There you go. That's TJL. That song is called Weirdos, and it's by a shitload of motherfuckers. That song is called by Eclectic and Reminisce, featuring Irie Lady Los and Jeff Slaps, Jehf, and that is produced by Matt Ratcliffe. So if you're feeling that one, check that shit out. Go out there and look for it, download it, buy it, buy that shit. I don't know where you can buy that, but I wanted to bump that for the homie TJL because TJL is a big supporter of the podcast, has been for a long time, and I just really like that song. So let's get into some questions. All right. This is from Alexis. Hey man, it's Alexis from LA. Saw you at the El Rey show. I have 2 questions for you, so here it is. When was the last time you and Herbal got into a fist fight with each other? And my second question is, how was it growing up with a twin? My 2 best friends are fraternal twins. They were born a couple of minutes apart, but hardly look alike. So how was it growing up with someone who looks like you? I've always been interested in kind of tripping on the fact that there are people who have a brother that looks like them. Man, it's mind-blowing. Ha-ha. Let me tell you something, Alexis. The thing about growing up as a twin is, yeah, I did grow up with somebody who looks like me and is genetically the same as me and ended up having a lot of the same interests as me because our DNA structure is exactly the same. I did do that, and I can see why that's interesting, but it's hard for me to tell you what it's like because I don't know what it's like to not have one. Like, I don't know what it's like to just grow up and be a twinless human. So it's hard for me to explain what it is like. I will say that, me and my brother, it's different with all sets of twins. And I think it's different with identical twins versus fraternal twins. I really should have George in here because George Watsky, he has a fraternal twin, and I know that he and his brother are not nearly as close as me and my brother. I talk to my brother damn near every day. Best friends, come in. Oh, we got the man, the myth, the legend, elements of music in the place to be.
Yo.
He's coming by. He just took a shit. How was it?
It was shorter than I thought it would be.
I was just talking about how, things like shitting and taking showers are kind of like a task on the Warped Tour, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I have a way more appreciation for taking showers readily. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because when you get out the shower here, you just feel you feel cleaner.
Yeah, because everything's dusty and shit.
Yeah. But, I was just answering I was getting to the questions, and this guy was asking what it's like to be a twin. And I was just basically, and actually, he asked when the last time me and my brother fist fought. We never have. So, that's the answer to that question. Never. We've never fist fought. We've always been really good friends. Always been, we argue here and there, but we've always gotten along pretty well. And, I don't know what it's like to grow up without a twin, so it's hard for me to explain what it's like to have one. But there's just like a dude who looks like you. He's out there. He has a lot of the same interests as you if you're identical, probably. At least me and my brother do. It's kind of to your advantage because as a kid, you always have a friend. It's like I guess I had a sleepover party with my best friend every night because we stayed in the same room and shit. But it's cool. I got another question here. Thanks, Alexis, for your question. All right. This question is from... Who's this from? Sorry for the delay. This is from Chris H. Hey there, Wax. You're awesome. Thanks for fulfilling the awkward 3-hour block I have in between Wednesday class with funny shit. Been a fan since Guess Who's Back in the Building, Big Wax with another track for the children video. But thanks very much, man. I'm not going to read the rest of the praise, but I appreciate the praise. And here's where you get to the question. I've been rapping for a few years now, and I have a ton of shit recorded, but I never show anyone absolutely any of it. Because my voice is terrible for rapping. I feel as though I'm a relatively okay lyricist, and I can stay on beat pretty well, but the way my voice sounds when rapping is cringy as fuck. At least when it comes to serious shit. So I've taken the initiative to write more stupid joke-like raps so it could go along with my voice more, but it's kind of still Basically, the question I'm getting at is, if you were listening to a new rapper or something, would you pay attention to how annoying / awesome the dude's voice sounds, or would you pay more attention to how he rhymes? I know that was long, my bad. Love your shit, keep it up. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm glad I got EOM into place for this, because I'm sure he has an opinion on this. I can start by telling you that absolutely 100%, I mean, your voice, the actual timbre of your voice that A, you were born with, and B, that you choose to rap with, is extremely important. I said choose to rap with because I know, for example, Be Real from Cypress Hill, even though he raps like that high-pitched voice, like he doesn't, like he changes his voice on purpose to talk, and for him, it worked, you know?
I guess one thing I say is Guru said, It's the voice.
It's mostly the voice that gets you up. If he said some rappers got something, some rappers got skill, but if you don't got the voice, you need to chill. And he's an example of somebody that just has a sick ass voice.
Yeah.
Granted, I think he's a good lyricist and a good rapper and shit too, but he's got an amazing fucking voice.
Yeah, him and Charlie Tuna, and like Busta Rhymes when he raps, like when sometimes when people rap or sing or whatever, their voice just commands your attention. Whereas some other people, you like them a lot, but like Cannabis, for instance, for a battle, he has a dope voice for that. But if he's talking about like mom problems and shit, I'm just after a while I'm just the mom. It's a little grating. But
there's actually people out there that their natural voice is good, like literally like equalization wise. Like that's why you hear Rihanna on the radio, because Rihanna she doesn't have to stack her vocals. Just one voice is extremely full.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Drake is like that. Drake has a very full voice. You know, and people like that are
Jay-Z
are good for radio. Yeah, Jay-Z. And then there's people that just have such a unique voice that it works for them because they stick out. You know what I mean? Where like, especially with a lot of like underground, grimy boom bap type rappers, like it's hard to tell them apart sometimes because they might sound kind of similar. You know what I mean? But some people. So I mean, you know, your voice is definitely important. But I think that like for this dude in particular, he's saying that when he's never showed anybody his shit. And when he listens to it, he thinks it's cringy. But, you know, maybe the problem isn't his voice. Maybe the problem is the way he sees himself. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he needs to show some other people that shit to maybe give him some confidence.
Yeah, that's true. I felt that way about my beats.
I wish he should have sent us something so we could give a breakdown. Hey, why don't you send an example and of you doing this shit? We won't play it on here if you don't want to, but we could at least make an assessment about your voice, you know what I mean? Because I think that if it's cringeworthy, it might be unique. I think the most important thing is that your voice is unique.
Yeah.
Because you can have a deep voice like, you know, like Charlie Tuna or whatever, or you can have a high-pitched voice like fucking Q-Tip. You know what I'm saying? Q-Tip has like a combination of deep and high-pitched. You know what I'm saying? But like when Q-Tip says, yo, you know it's Q-Tip. You know what I mean? That's what's important. What's important is people knowing it's you.
Yeah. True shit.
And there's gonna be people that like, or like Eminem, like his voice is very high pitched, and there's people out there that can't listen to that because of his voice.
I can't listen to him now.
I can't listen to him now.
I used to, and I love it. I have no problem with his voice.
Yeah, it's not his voice that does it. It's kind of like the style now.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of somebody who's just voice fucks me up. I was like that with Fred Durst back in the day.
True.
And I heard him, I was just going, like I didn't even want to hear him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know I'd hear a lot of fans on this tour talk shit about MC Chris's voice, and I actually fucking love his voice when he raps because he sounds like himself, like just like you're saying, it's unique. It's not. It doesn't sound like he's trying to rap like somebody else.
Yeah, and as soon as he grabs the mic, you know it's MC Chris.
Yeah.
You know, whereas dude, perfect example. There's a there's a bunch of really cool dudes that actually run this thing called the Bring It Back stage. The Bring It Back stage is a small stage on the Warped Tour where it's kind of like people freestyle and people do breakdancing and stuff like that. But when there's a cipher and there's just a bunch of people around, like you hear a bunch of dudes that kind of like you can tell that they've been listening to rap and they probably listen to like Jedi Mind Tricks and shit like that, and like. You know, you're not going to really get a guy that you really, really tell apart. And now, I'm not saying that's 100% of the time, because I've seen some dudes over there that crush it and they have their own style and shit like that. But, like, when you can be standing on the other side of the fucking place, MC Chris checks the mic, and you're like, that's fucking MC Chris right there. So my point being that the most important thing, in my opinion, with your voice is that it's original. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't sound original, maybe that's when you got to make, like, a quote-unquote rap voice like Be Real did.
True.
You know? I don't know.
That's how I feel about my rap voice. A lot of people say I sound like Charlie Tuna, and maybe I just gotta do some other shit.
I think that that's interesting. That's interesting. You have a very unique, awesome, deep voice, but what happens is since somebody else out there has that, that's to your disadvantage.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect example right there.
True.
When you first started rapping on tape, did you cringe at your voice? Did you not like hearing yourself?
I liked hearing what I was saying, but everyone else said I should stick to beats.
Right.
So
I told Kanye that too.
yeah, but it's like, yeah. I mean, it was hard to listen to. It always sounds like mumbly.
I feel like I can't. Even when I was a kid, I mean, shit. Even just hearing your own recorded voice for the first
It's different.
bit of time, it might not be the problem. Might not be your voice. The problem is just like it's weird to hear yourself.
It's like seeing yourself on camera.
Let's ask Camilla. Hey, Camilla, take off your headphones for a second.
They're not in.
Oh, well, I do a podcast. I'm recording a podcast. Camilla, for you guys that didn't know, Camilla sings with Watsky, and she's a great person, great singer. And this person asked a question about their voice, their own rapping voice.
Okay.
They think they have a bad rapping voice, but they've only been doing it for a little while. And when they hear themselves on record, they cringe.
That is one of the most common things that I ever hear, is that their initial reaction to their recorded voice is one that they do not like.
Right. Did you have that reaction?
Well, I started recording when I was really little, so I kind of grew up knowing what that sounded like. So I personally didn't have that much of an experience with that. But I have seen it and heard that response numerous times. And usually, after a little bit more practice and getting used to that, they get over it and they kind of settle into their own vocal vibe.
I mean, you fucking heard it from a professional.
Yeah.
You heard it here first on Wax's podcast
Concise.
from a professional. What the fuck are me and you even doing there? That's some real shit right there. All right, let me get this. I'm reading it off my phone today, so I'm a little fucking. Who was that sent that one? That was Chris H. Thanks for sending that shit, Chris H. Why don't you go ahead and send us beastforwax@gmail.com if you want to send an example of what that cringeworthy voice sounded like, so we could further analyze and hopefully further, give you some fucking more confidence. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll probably fuck around and think it was the greatest voice of all time.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes you just need somebody to let you know that you sound good, too.
Yeah, exactly. You need somebody to pat you on the back and say, you know what, you're doing a great
Good
job.
work.
All right, this one's from Mike W. Hey, brother. Hope things are well. Waiting on a new project, though. Well, my new project will be out soon. I'm working on a couple of different things, and this tour kind of put a monkey wrench into the operation. But I will be back on the grind as soon as I get off this, and I'm working on shit on this tour. I'm writing some shit to the EOMB right now. But just wanted to ask. I don't care if you say it on the podcast or not. But when you first started performing, did you ever get really nervous? I've been playing at these little coffee house things my high school does. I'm in grade 11 now. And playing guitar pieces and stuff. And I mean, I play really well and everything. Excuse me while I suck my own dick. But I get really nervous. Like to the point of shaking and shit. I play well, but it does interfere with my performances. And it's nothing huge. But like I notice it and other musicians do. I was wondering if that's a thing you can conquer or if it's simply a personality thing. How did you get over it? By the way, the song I played is Waiting by Callum Graham. I know you're a guitarist, so you'll appreciate it. He's a Torontonian guitarist that's got a Don Ross type acoustic thing going, and I actually killed it. He's amazing. Anyway, peace, man. He has some recommendations. I recommend the Jig Masters. It's DJ Spinna and Criminal. Are you familiar with them, E?
Nah.
But they're super dope experimental raucous related shit. And that is from Mike W. from Canada. All right, thanks for your question, Mike W. This is about pretty much nerves, stage fright, shaking, things like that. And I'll go ahead and start by saying that at this point, although I might get like a couple little butterflies and shit before we go on, especially on really big shows, I don't get like a real sense of nervousness. Definitely not to the point of shaking. But I remember when I was in high school having to give like just like a speech in front of the class, just like a speech, like speech class. I remember like shaking. I definitely remember being super, super nervous, and I think that's normal, and I don't think it's your personality. I think it's something that's definitely you could get over eventually, and the only way to do it is to fucking go through it. You know?
Keep doing it, yeah.
I think the more that you get those jitters, the more you'll know about them, and the easier they'll be to conquer. You know what I mean?
You can play through them, too. I still get nervous before every single show. By the time the first word comes out, I'm good. But I kind of credit it to, like, Eye of the tiger.
Yeah? Do you have
Adrenaline
do you have any kind of ritual or anything that you do before shows? Anything you think or say to yourself?
Okay, so this is kind of weird, but I do this, and it did help me when I was younger, and if I'm really nervous, I'll do it. I picture a color, my favorite color, that, like, calms my body down in my stomach. I know it's totally woo-woo, but mine's, like, gold, and then I imagine the color, like, filling up my body and then shooting out of my feet into the ground, so I'm, like, grounded. And the trick to it is finding a color that, like, calms you down, that you feel your body actually react to what you're imagining. But it works for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know.
So far beyond any shit I would
I've been doing it for years, dude, and it works.
So you're saying you start in your stomach. I'll picture gold, start in my stomach, and it shoots out, and it kind of, like, sticks me to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And does the gold continue to shoot all over the ground that I'm...
I mean, what I imagine is that it goes down and it ties around the center of the earth.
Like roots.
So it grounds me down exactly like roots, yeah.
I think this question would be, as many of you may or may not know, EOM is not only a performer now, but he's been a performer for a long time, and was often he used to do magic and beatboxing, and some people, weren't fucking with him at the time. So let me ask you, when you were a kid and you were doing your first types of performances, did you get nervous as shit or what?
Yeah. It was, for long story short, I would get nervous, but once I started, everything went away.
Really?
Then it's a matter of, well, you started, now you got to finish. Because if you start and don't finish, then you're going to get, like, people make fun of you for that.
Right.
But with magic, it was just hard to get people to trust you. That, I'm reaching in my pocket to pull out cards. I lived in the South, so it's kind of weird with that.
You definitely can't get the shakes if you're doing magic.
Nah, you can't. You gotta be
steady
confident.
hand is all about it.
And then
you ever had that feeling with shakes?
I never had shakes. For me, it was sweat.
I've had that before.
It was like if I'm nervous, I sweat like a motherfucker. Like this producer I look up to named Knots. I met him several times, and every time I met him and played beats for him, I would sweat my ass off. And I'm not even physically doing anything. I don't really have to perform. I'm just pressing play, but just the fact that he worked with all my, like, idols and shit, I'm just, like, I was just sweating. But, like, that's another thing was when I first started DJing for you, it was, it was just weird. I didn't have a mic at one point, and I was just, I remember seeing videos where I'm just mad awkward. But I don't remember being nervous, though. But I do remember drinking a lot before the shows, and maybe that was what helped me calm my nerves. But now I don't have to drink as much. I don't have to drink at all now. I can just go out
we've
there
been
and
doing them sober. Even for myself, like when we do the club tour, I always have 2 or 3 drinks before we perform. But now, like, I go up sober and I don't even think about it. And who knows? Maybe I'm sucking. I don't fucking know. But that's an interesting point. And if you go back to if you look up on YouTube Wax Weekly Vans Warped Tour, there was an episode from 2011 when me and E did the first. It was just us on the Warped Tour, and I talked about that. And God, like, I was talking about how when E first started doing the shit, like, he's relatively quiet dude. You wouldn't know it if you knew him, but he's kind of a quiet dude in most situations. When he first started DJing for me, you were a producer. You weren't a fucking DJ.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, dude, come with us, come on the road. You know what I mean? I need somebody to fucking help me out with this shit, so I'm not fucking playing my iPod. You know what I mean?
True.
So he started by being kind of like, I just push play and looked like something, dude. Which if you think about it, is actually more nerve wracking than fucking doing all the shit you do now. But if you come to see the fucking Warped Tour now, I mean, EOM is fucking Fat Man Scoop level of hype man, and just like, he just fucking sets it off, fucking makes everybody say things, and fucking starts the whole shit off with a bang. And I think that he's proof of shit's only going to get better and better if you keep trying and you put your all into it. And the only way to get better as a performer is to keep performing.
Nike is a genius for that catchphrase they got.
Just do it.
Yeah, for real.
I agree. All right, so I'm at like the 53-minute mark here. Why don't we just think of a topic we can talk about for the next like 4 minutes or so we can get at least close to an hour's worth of podcast. I had Max read Attila lyrics.
Oh yeah, true.
I talked about the if you're a fucking white dude with a shaved head and you're a performer, you got to be careful about the way you put your hand up.
Yeah. Especially in Germany.
Even if you're moving your hand up and down like this, if somebody takes a still photo, all of a sudden, all of a sudden you're just like a Nazi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. But I already talked about that, so.
True.
What other weird tour things have we experienced?
Any funny stories happened in the last couple of days? I talked about the general thing, but there wasn't any.
Oh, the fan last night was hilarious. The Watsky fan.
Oh, why don't you tell that story?
Okay, so I walk into the hotel, and there's this guy. He goes into the elevator with me as Kim and Ellie are coming out, and they were talking about showers, and we get into the elevator. He's like, "Why are you guys taking showers together? Why are you in the same hotel taking showers?" I was like, "We're on Warped Tour." So he goes, "Shut up, Vans Warped Tour?" And I'm like, "Yeah, with Watsky." He's like, "Shut the fuck up, you're with Watsky?" I'm like, "Yeah, Watsky and Wax." And he's like, "Wait, Watsky's in this building? He's in this place right now?" It was awesome. And then he didn't believe me, so I walk away. And he called me erroneous, I think. I don't know. He said some word that was trying to belittle my knowledge, apparently. And so we go outside, and he's on his balcony, and I go over and get George, and I'm like, "There's a dude on the balcony over there that really wants to meet you." And they did this whole little, fucking Romeo and Juliet scene on the balcony with the flower and shit. It was, maybe you had to be there, but it was pretty fucking hilarious.
Was it a kid, or was it an adult?
No, it was a
dude.
our age young man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of Lincoln, Nebraska.
In the middle of Lincoln, Nebraska.
That actually is pretty weird. Like,
ass hotel, dude. It was so weird.
If you're a fan of somebody, and
that
then all of a sudden,
like a hospital, yeah.
You never would have guessed that they'd just be in your hotel in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, he couldn't believe it either. He was driven. And then he got a flower. It was cute. It was quite a little moment we had on the balcony.
We also did last night. We ended the night with sparklers.
Oh,
we did, and we thought there was a cop, but it was lights.
Yeah,
the whole time.
I thought, we just didn't investigate properly enough.
No, and tonight we're gonna.
I don't think that fucking sparklers are illegal anyway. Like, there's no state where sparklers are illegal.
It's kind of like a lighter, huh? It's like a fancy lighter.
Yeah,
it's just like the kids' starter fireworks.
Yeah, I think if anything, it'd be like the hotel might call, because if we were being loud.
Yeah,
or like
shooting off fireworks.
Sparklers, they do leave trash. They do leave those fucking sticks everywhere. So that's the only thing I can think of. But. But that's how tough we are out here on this tour. Man. We don't have M80s. We don't have dynamite. We don't have fucking guns. We don't have anything. Just sparklers.
Just writing our names in the air.
I will say that we do have plenty of weed, because everywhere we go, people give it to us.
So kind. So generous.
That's one thing that if you want to get free weed from your fans, rap about weed. I can't imagine how often Snoop Dogg gets free weed.
Oh man,
Wiz Khalifa, those
true.
dudes
they stay high.
There is a price with it though, that everybody
assumes you're high all the time.
Not only assumes you're high all the time, but everybody assumes that you want to get high with them right now all the time, and that's like me. I'm on a much smaller level. Imagine Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's dream is to get high with Snoop.
Goal. Yeah.
So everywhere he goes, people want to get him. I did.
Claps to you.
I did. But even with me, somebody will be in the line to be like, I've always wanted to smoke a blunt with you, man.
Let's just sneak behind.
And I'll be like, dude, there's people that can't do it right now. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll just wait. They'll just it's worse at club shows, but they'll just fucking wait till the end of the night till you're done packing everything up, and you're like, dude, that's fucking nice. That's awesome, but
But no, thank you.
I need to make weed shots, so you could just.
Or maybe
it's a one-hitter.
Instead of taking the 20 minutes it takes to go find a place and fucking sit there and then I got to talk and...
Would that be a one-hitter?
I mean, basically,
yeah.
But even then, there's the whole
That's...
separate yourself. You have to take... You really do, generally, unless you're in, Washington, California, Colorado, you got to, separate from the group. So it does take time no matter what.
Yeah, and the thing, it sounds like... Sometimes after a show, you just want to kind of chill. You don't want to... You just want to... just want to fucking chill.
I will say, I had a weed lollipop about 20 minutes ago, and when I was sitting there, I was like, man, am I getting high? And then I started moving, and I felt fine.
20 minutes isn't that long.
No, you gotta wait a little
maybe it was longer than that.
I think
was it before the set or after the set?
It was after the set. like when I went to go take a shit, I stopped by to see if Kim needed anything. Then I sat down, ate the lollipop.
Oh, dude, you wouldn't. It's probably right about now that it would kick.
Oh,
That
true.
takes a while.
I'm so
It takes like an
excited.
hour to kick in.
Oh, an hour too. All right, never mind then.
But you might an hour from now be like, holy fuck.
That's why I got these sunglasses.
Did you eat the whole thing?
Yeah,
Nice.
crush it.
Nice.
That's why I got these
Keeping
sunglasses.
my eye on you, E.
I feel like I always give myself away with my eyes. Like I'm not a good liar, so if I'm high or something, it's just like I went crazy or something.
I've already bought like 2 sets of sunglasses, and I don't know where any of them are.
Oh, they disappear.
They
so
just
fast.
disappear. Sunglasses.
I've actually
phone
kept all of
chargers.
mine. I have like 4 pairs. If you need a pair, I don't know how.
I'm gonna
I don't
buy
know
some
that
merch
any of them
today.
are.
I'm gonna buy some
Go to
merch.
Vans and get the Vans ones. They'll give it
Yeah.
to you for free if you like finagle.
I'm gonna buy some shirts that nobody else has bought.
Oh,
Our whole team of people here, like we walk around the Warped Tour and buy all the cool merch.
We be reppin'.
There's tons of cool T-shirts you can buy at the
And
Warped Tour.
hats.
I'll tell you that.
K-Place hat is the shit.
Yeah, as I see it right there next to you.
Yeah.
someone has the Attila shirt. It says it suck my fuck. It says suck my frick.
Oh, really?
I
That's
was like, damn,
hilarious.
that's
great.
if they actually sell that, that's genius.
I was talking about in earlier in the podcast. I was saying if I would have had the foresight to know the fashion, I would have just got a bunch of shirts printed out, not wax shirts, but just like shirts that said, "Oh, just I could just think of phrases like lick my fucking cunt,
Some kind
don't
of
be a stupid
profanity.
bitch,
Sure.
yeah, and just call it like cuss words are us or whatever." Just like
That's
just,
a great
just
idea.
a shirt. Like if you had a fucking booth with those kind of shirts
that said
different
cuss
phrase,
words are us.
maybe it doesn't say that.
I think that's kind of
You
cute.
could make it say
dude.
something else, you know?
Sure.
Or just call it like fuck shirts.
Fuck shirts.
And just have
That
like
is a whole
you
other-
could even have the shirt like just be like cunt fuck shit bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like people would buy
That's
the
like
fuck out of that.
the MC Chris one.
Oh, yeah.
The weed, sex,
weed.
pizza.
Yeah.
Yes,
Batman's.
exactly like
Batman,
that. You just said
women.
like bitches, weed, 420, eat a dick, or something like that. You'd sell like 10 shirts a day at
Yeah,
least.
you would.
You know,
That's pretty ridiculous.
that's the style though. You notice that?
It is.
Yeah.
The style is to have a cuss word on your shirt, at least one.
At
Yeah.
least one.
Just because they can't wear that shit at school.
Yeah, I mean, I would
That's a
imagine.
good
I would
point.
imagine they can't wear it at home either. Most people.
I bet a lot of them bring it in their backpack and change when they
That's
get here.
exactly what I said. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're getting dropped off, and they're like
Mhm. Where's a
fucking
bathroom at?
One Direction shirt. You know, the only direction they're going is straight to fucking hell.
It's so funny. Oh my god.
But, you know.
Oh.
All right. Well, shit. I got about an hour's worth of material already. I think I'm good to go.
Word.
So I'm gonna sign off. Amelia, you got anything to say?
I mean, I'm honored to be a part of this today. Thank you.
Hey, E.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Be safe out there.